ready.
All right. What's up, everybody? It is your girl. It is your first lady, Bernadine Truth, alongside.
It's your man and I see what's going on, world.
Yes. And y'all are I can't talk right now. Y'all are checking. I'm saying I really have no idea. Y'all are checked into the Urban Collective show. We are super excited. It's that time of our show and our segment where we have a celebrity guest interview.
Yes.
I'm really excited to introduce you all to Miss Candice Hayes. Mm-hmm. Candice graduated with her bachelor's in communications and a minor in psychology. She's the creator, developer, and online host of her podcast, The Vault with Shays. The Vault is an online podcast that she breathed life into during her junior year at Newberry College. It is also in college when Candice placed a call to WXBR 1460 AM, a former radio station which broadcasted out of Brockton, Mass. For an internship. Unfortunately, at the time, there was nothing available. However, a blessing in the form of an invite was extended to her to co-host one of the radio station's larger on-air shows, Mind of Media. Not only did Candice work as an on-air co-host during her tenure at the station, she also took on a position as a board operator until the station was sold. Continuing on, for today's time, Candice moved to creating an online show on her YouTube channel called Swipes and Giggles that discusses the many challenges that go along with online dating. So she single-handedly records, promotes, and edits all of her own content. Because of her ability to engage with her audience, Shays is once again gaining recognition for her many talents. With invites to join some of Boston's own top podcasters, she has joined in online and live audience participation shows. Candice is also volunteering at the Talking Information Center in Marshfield, Massachusetts to read over air to people with visual impairments. I love that. So awesome. Without further ado, y'all, I'd like to introduce you all to Candice.
Hello.
You're doing a lot. Go ahead. I didn't realize you were in the game for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Storytelling. How many years would you say it's been for you?
On and off. Oh Lord, that's like since 2012.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man,
like I've had multiple, like you know how like you do like multiple
Mm-hmm.
different avenues and things like that. Like I had a YouTube channel beforehand that was like Naturally You Won. It was like about natural hair and doing more so natural makeup because people out here with cake face and weaves all over the place. And I was just like, let me just do this. And that's when like natural hair channels and like makeup channels was like really getting big on YouTube. And this was before YouTube was even paying people. And I was just like, I kind of like want to showcase what I do. Like I make videos by myself. Why not make videos by myself and then have people enjoy it at the same time? So I started doing that. I had the slow-mos going and everything in there. It was getting crazy. And then they was, starting to shut my stuff down because I was using music. But that's besides the point.
So but no credit was
due. No credit. But like I was getting up there and I was like, dang, if I had went, man, I'd be out here making money.
No.
Oh, if I had.
So you couldn't just post it without music?
No, it wasn't even about the music thing. It was just like I was in school at the same time.
Okay.
So like
it takes a lot.
Yeah, it takes a lot. And I'm not even gonna say I was like the perfect student. I was out here studying every night and all that stuff.
She doesn't edit or do any of that, so that's why she's just like,
everybody has what they enjoy.
Yeah, and like
life is supposed to know what you don't like.
Yeah, like things weren't like big like that. Like I wasn't like a Mac user and other stuff. I was using Windows Maker
back then.
Like all that stuff. So it was just like a lot more taskful, and I was using my like simple like point and shoot camcorder and stuff. So I was like, damn, when I look back, I was like, yo, I came up, man. I definitely came up. But like I've always been into videos and editing and doing like just different kind of stuff. Like I was making my own little stupid vlogs and stuff. Like I was the kid who had the you got games in your phone, that little look that little kid give over the camera. Like I was that person. And then always like with the Kodak flash camera, always taking the one arm selfie. I was doing selfies before selfies with selfies. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the ringleader for it, but people want to take credit, so that's it. That's pretty much it.
Well, that's awesome. It's been a journey for you. In your experience, I mean, starting off since you were in college up until now, what would you say has been like one of the most significant changes with like storytelling and podcasting, being on radio?
I think more so now, and I was just talking about this with somebody else, like beforehand when it was like you would listen to like GM 945 or like different radio shows or anything, you're listening for their like little intakes on certain things, and that's why some people gravitated to certain different personalities on radio and everything. And now people are more so like, I don't want to just listen to music and then listen to a little bit of personality. I want a personality. Like I want to listen and talk to the person. I want to be driving in my car arguing with the person, like as if they're like right next. Like they're right next to me. And I think that's what the shift is going into, where people. I'm not saying people don't care about music; they obviously do. But I think people are more so like, I want to get to know the person who's talking and who they are, and like maybe their ideals match mine more so than, all right, I want to listen to this song or they play this song over and over again. I think that's another reason why people are more so like into podcasts now, because you're not listening to the same people over and over and over again. Like I like It's Lit Boston. I really like how they do like the at the end of every episode of channel, like they have like someone out of Massachusetts, like their music, and like having you listen to it is like the battle of the artists or something like that. It's giving you a chance to listen to someone new on a different avenue. So I think that's definitely a shift happening, which I didn't think would, but like you can even see it just via social media. Like people want to watch people on live just talk.
That, like, I don't get that at all.
And like, but the thing is, I like doing it. I mean, people don't really listen to me, but like I said, besides the point, it's just it's like being able to. It's now, and also the shift being, you weren't being able to talk to people on radio before, like. You would hope,
like TV stars.
Like you would hope you would get online like, oh, I love you so much, I want to give a shout out to my mom, I won tickets on the radio and things. But like now, like I said, when you have like the Instagram and you have like different podcasts and everything, the different avenues, the way that you can talk to a person, you can communicate out to them and they can respond back to you in real time.
The engagement is different.
The engagement is different, and I think that's why it's growing and shifting more towards podcasts, because it's like I get to know you on a personal level. You know, and that's pretty much how that's going. Which I ain't mad at it. So.
I'm not mad at it.
What do you find is most difficult in doing a podcast and hosting and doing your own podcast?
Well, I'll say this: like you guys are their team, right? So one person can handle like social media accounts, another person handles editing, as you say that you do yourself, and like one person handles like the business aspect and the marketing of it and everything, whereas I myself is like I am my own team, like, and that's pretty much it. Like when I go from recording a video, I have to now take that video out the camera, insert it, download it, export it, do twist little things. I have to watch like little cute tutorials on YouTube on how to make different effects and stuff. And to some people, they don't get like what the effects do. Like they're watching it and they're like, "Oh, that was cute." And to me, I took
like 10 minutes to do that.
I took an hour of perfection watching it over and over again to make sure that this was right. This you know. And I'm a big person of sound, so I love editing sound. So like I'm a person where like I'll get you on the I'll get you at that point because I want it to be as clean cut as it possibly can. Now when I'm real tired, you gonna see it in videos, you're gonna hear it in the audio where it's not like as good as it could be. But there's some nights, like there's days where I have to go to work at like 8 o'clock. That means I have to be up at like 6:45, whatever. And there's sometimes I don't go to bed till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning because I know I have to push this out. I have to get this content out. I have to be able to engage with my audience. Like, obviously it's hard to do every single week on this day unless you have like a perfect system met up for yourself. And especially when it's yourself, you don't have accountability on other people. So it's good and then it's bad because it's like, it's good because I get to run my own stuff when I want to, how I want to, and when the time I need to do it. But then it's bad because I don't have anybody to account me for it. Like, like, oh, be here at 6 o'clock because we have a meeting to do this or do this at like, during this time. So it gives like, there's a pros and cons to doing it, but I love saying like, this is mine. And this is what I have.
And watching it grow too.
And watching it grow and watching people appreciate it. Like whenever somebody goes, oh, I seen the video and you did the little like rewind of it, like, oh, I thought that was so funny. Like I like that. Or watching someone's reaction to a video and they see like a different edit, or how I do like a pause or a jump screen, or even when I become Eddie Murphy himself and I do different characters and they're just like, what is that? Like it's just like the joy of someone else enjoying something that in my brain is something so simple. It's good. I like it.
That's amazing. I love it because you appreciate your craft. You sound super excited and enthusiastic about it, which to me means that you really are passionate about it.
Oh yeah, no,
and I love that. How what made you decide to become a one woman show versus like bringing other people into your vision?
So I said since I was young, I have the only child syndrome. Now, this is not a real disorder at all whatsoever.
Are you really the only child?
No, I'm not. This is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm saying. The only child syndrome.
Okay,
right.
It's when you have siblings, but you almost act like an only child. Like, it's like, so... All my oldest sibling is 17 years older than me. My sister's older than 17. Then my oldest brother's 10. My older brother's 4. So like I had a distance in sibling, and then of course you don't want to be 17 or 18 years old with your 1 or 2 year old little sister bothering you or different things like that. So I always was like, obviously always with my siblings and playing with my siblings and whatever. Especially my older brother, who's only 4 years different than me, was fighting, man. It used to be crazy. But that's why I'm buff and strong now. So I'm like, I want somebody to check me, like, yeah, like I got 2 big brothers who fight all the time. But I always used to do stuff by myself, like all the time. Like it was never a thing of like, oh, I need to go do this with somebody, or I need to, like, I was playing by myself. I was doing something by myself. I was singing and writing songs by myself. Like I was always a character. No matter what, like there's like a VHS. Ooh, nobody knows about that. No, but there's like a video when I was like down on the farm with my family, and I'm just like jumping in front of the camera, just acting up. And of course, black mothers they do not play that. They just
what you doing?
Like
go sit somewhere.
And I tell my mother now, I said, had I listened to your words, I would not be who I am today. So thank you.
Tried to silence you.
Try to silence my greatness, and now she's like, that's my baby. Like Hercules.
I love it.
But like what makes me want to do it, not even just be by myself, but it's just the fact of like I'm such a on the spot person that in order for me to even work with someone, they have to be on the spot too. Like I can call someone, like I call my manager, I'm like, so I think I'm gonna do this, that, and the third, blah 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 blah. And he's like, can you do that? Like, is that possible for you to do it? I'm just like, yeah, give me like 2 days. I'm gonna figure it out, and then it's done. Like it's just one of those things. Like you have to find time in between time, and that's how I kind of like work. But like I started my YouTube channel out with my cousin, and she has like other projects that she does. So she's like, you know what, you hold it down. I gotta do my due. Like she's a photographer and she does blogs and everything like that, and which is really great. So I was just like, I'm gonna hold it down. Like I don't want to give up the YouTube channel because like a lot of people like it and everything. So I did that, and then in early January, because I did the podcast when I was in college, so it was like on air, and then I was like, guys, we don't have a phone for people to ring in on, like how are we going to communicate with people? And so I was like, oh, we have another desktop, let's just go on Twitter, shout people out on Twitter, they tweet us back and everything, and that's our live podcast. And that's how I did it. So that got like a lot of flow and a lot of traction. So then when I brought it back this year, because I always did like little things here and there, like on Twitter I used to have like good like weather alerts. My weather alerts used to be crazy. I'm like, good morning Boston, it's 86 degrees outside, it's a little rainy, so hold on to your wigs, ladies. Like it would just be like random stuff, whatever. So I always try to keep like something going. And then my friend who has a podcast in New York, The Flip Side, she was working with Anchor. She's like, oh, bring podcast back in 2019, and I was like, I should bring the vote back. The people want it, in the back and the front. I gotta do it for the people, and the people like it. So that's really how it is. So
that's awesome.
Like, get back to, I always rant, but get back to the original, because the reason why I do it by myself is because I have like too many thought process to go on for another person to keep up with. And if a person can do that, that's perfectly fine. Like I have no issue doing it, but I love the silence and the solitude of getting what I need to get done and doing what I need to do.
And working on your own schedule, right?
And having working on my own schedule.
Like, you're up until 3, you're up until 3.
Yeah,
if you're not, then you're not.
You're not, because like I was never a person who was good at groups in school, like at all. Like I always just wanted to get what I need to get done, and then that's it. Not depend on another person. Like even when I go to like parties and gatherings, you will find a good 20 minutes I have disappeared. I'm just in the corner. Like I don't really need to be around a person, like, and I've always taught myself to like be independent. So like maybe a few years ago I started going to restaurants by myself, or going to different events by myself, no matter how nervous and nerve-wracking, like, I don't have anybody, like standing at when I didn't have a car, standing at the bus stop without my phone, like, I'm like just doing things, walking around the house without having something near me to keep me connected to the outside world. Making sure that like I can be by myself and do what I need to do.
It's very difficult. A lot of people don't know how to do that. A lot of people, especially in this modern age.
Yeah, and it's something that you have to like teach yourself. Like there's sometimes where I'll leave my phone in my room and I'll go in the kitchen and I'm like, did I hear it? like my spidey senses are going off, and I'm like, did I hear the vibrate? Did
No, it's like that for me too.
Yeah.
It's like you look, nothing happened. It's like it's okay.
And I think there's like an actual name condition for that now. You know, have you ever felt like your phone vibrated in your pants, but your phone's not in it, but like your phone's not even near you, like it's in a whole other room. Like they have an actual condition for it now.
There's a name for it.
There's a name for it, and like I
diagnosed everyone.
Yes, like I remember like the first time it happened to me, I was like, wait a minute, I got my phone. Why did I feel my phone vibrate? And I'm
it's
like,
so funny you
snap.
said that because today at work, I'm like, I swear I saw a notification go off on my phone, and the phone wasn't even there, and I'm like, I'm making up notifications, like I'm making up blue lights.
Yes,
blue lights
and I think it's just the feeling of being wanted.
Now you're making me look at my phone.
It's just the feeling of being like wanted and being needed in like that moment. It's just maybe you like, oh, maybe I hope this person hit me up, or someone said something to me, like, you know, and you just think it happened, but it ain't happened. Your phone dry. Put it down, sis.
So you talk about being a one woman show and like why, you know, and being able to be your own individual person and work on your own timelines and things like that. But you did reference your manager. So what is it? What made you decide to get a manager? What were some of the thoughts that you went through when you made that decision? And how was that relationship going?
Good. I'm not gonna name because he won't be named. But I actually have. Funny story. I've known him for. Oh, we were introduced for a while time ago, but you know it's okay. I guess I'm a person that you don't have to remember me, you know. But like when I first, I was just like, oh hey, and he's just like, how do I know you? And I'm like, wow, that's embarrassing. That sounds really bad, especially because like we share a mutual best friend. So like.
Oh yeah.
For you not to know me, you didn't know. You didn't want to know me. You didn't want to know what's going on over here.
Mutual best friend.
Exactly. So we actually got connected like January, February, and just started like talking about like things like he's in advertising and marketing, like that's the field he works in. So he's just like, oh well, I see you do like a podcast, you have a YouTube channel, like what's your direction you want to go into and everything. And I said, oh, like I want to bring it here, like I don't want to. If I have to be famous for it, I don't want that. Like, I just want to have something that people can feel connected to. Like, you know, so whether if I have 100 people following or if I have 200,000 people following, like, as long as you feel connected to it, that's all that I'm happy about, you know. And so he's just like, okay, that's like something you kind of want to hear and see from a person. It's like if you're only looking for the money and for like the fame of it all, you're not going to go far. Like this is something that you devote your time to and that you love.
Right.
So we just started talking, having conversations here and there, and he's just like, I want to start my own like marketing and get into it because I'm already in the business. I already know the backgrounds and what to do, the time postings and everything like that. So he started his own, which is 100 or nothing, 100x nothing on Instagram. So he has that. So I was just, he's like, yo, like I want you to be like my first client. I want you, like, I really want to push this and everything. And I'm like, I guess you're cool or whatever. Like you didn't remember me or anything. So I guess I'll take the leap of faith and I'll let you do this. But no, like definitely it has worked out in favor. Like different events that we went to and everything. Like people are starting to get to know him. Like people get to know me. Like so now, like if I go somewhere, they're like, oh, where's your manager at? And I'm like, oh. Like I get to tell him like somebody cares. Like that's so nice. Like so sweet. Somebody knows you. Like even though it's supposed to be about me, but yes. But like it's good. It's a great relationship. Like he definitely like we talk every day, like as friends, and then it like business. Like it's never a personal thing that happens. When it's business, it's business. When it's friendship, it's friendship. And making sure that this is going on. So anytime something's going on, I'm like, hey, I have this. Hey, I've seen this opportunity. He's forwarding me, sending me different things of avenues or different ways to take things and talk about different topics and everything. So I think when you have I don't want to say like a friendship base, but I think our friendship started because of the business. So like our dedication is both to our businesses and what we want to do. Right. So it's just that hustle and grind that like is just like, yo man, like you my dog. Like, I gotta keep you around. Like you have the same hustle and mentality, and a lot of people want to work but don't want to put in the work. And that's the thing. Like you can't say like, oh, I'm working, but you ain't even showing up.
Right.
Like you know what I'm saying. You have to like keep that grind and keep that mentality going. Like I can't say, oh yeah, like the podcast is going great. 3 weeks later, no post. Like what is that? Doesn't make any sense. Like you're not doing anything. Yeah, and then like he also like you always have to keep a person that keeps you grounded too. I remember one time I was like, yo, I got this video, I got an interview, I got this, I got that. He's like, you know what? Mandatory shutdown. Take a week off. Don't do anything. Don't think about anything. Don't edit nothing. Just take a week because you need this. Because if you look at it, because like I work at a call center, so I'm at a computer. I'm on the phone all day, 8 to 10 hours. So then imagine going home and you on a computer again, stress on your eyes and everything. You just need to just relax and chill out.
Yeah.
So it's also that too. Like, it's not even about just having someone tell you what to do and when to do it and who you're connected to. It's like, is that person also looking out for your sanity and your emotional state? And if they do, then they're a cool person.
That.
Like I said, you alright.
I wanted to ask you, can you tell the collective what your podcast is about and what different topics that you cover on the podcast?
So, The Vault, with Chase, tagline, doesn't matter if you say Chase or C. Hayes, doesn't matter what flavor stays in your mouth. And the reason why I say it is because people read it and they say Chase. Or
I remember the first time I was like,
or you look at it and you say C. Hayes. So it used to be like C. Hayes is how it's my first and last name, Candice Hayes, is a combination. And the reason why I even started that was like, I think I was in 10th grade and I was in computer class and they were like, they always want you to do this is when like web development was good and they could learn. They were like, ooh, kids can get into this and have a work field in it. Let's just, and then she wanted us to create like our own little fake company and like little something like that. And so I was just like, oh, Chase Inc. sounds real good. I was like, this sounds nice. So I was like, I went from that, and then I kind of just rolled with it. And like it's really like my alias to like all around Halloween. I dress like a dude every Halloween. It started when I was a senior year. I dress like a dude every Halloween.
What do you mean?
I know, I'm like, you can't just like breathe. I just like a dude every Halloween.
Okay, so basically, me and my oldest brother are literally twins. Like, look just like, right? Okay. So it was my senior Halloween. I was just like, I don't know what I want to do. This is my last year trick or treat before I go to college. Like, I don't know what to be. I was like, oh, I'll just dress like a guy. Like, why not? Like, that's pretty fun. So I put on my older brother's like clothes, like they're baggy, whatever. I had got like this thick paint, put a beard or whatever. Oh I walked into my mother's room. She was like, "Oh my God!" And she thought I was my brother Bobby. Like she really thought it was me. I walked into my grandmother's house. She goes, "Oh hey Bobby." She goes, "Wait a minute, that's Candice." Like it was. And then I went around to woman's door and she's like talking to my cousins, whatever. And I was like, "Well, we're kids and like this is our last year trick or treating." She goes, "Oh, you're a girl." Like, she didn't even know. I was just like, dang.
She didn't even filter it.
That's what I'm saying. So I was just like,
I was like, sometimes you get caught off guard.
Yeah, and I was like, y'all don't see all this shine here. Like, it's glossing right here. But, like, I wanted to, what was the original question? My name is at the, but, so the podcast really just deals with, like, your per usual hot topics. What not to do with certain situations. I have like what the F happened this week. So it's just like the big, quick little tabloid things that came out, whatever, and just talk about them for a quick minute. And then my biggest part of the show is like questions with Chase. So that's like I either ask a question about relationships, sex, what would you do, or either or kind of things, and just get your input on it. And I really like that because a lot of people, I'll post on the Instagram like, oh, this happened. Like the most recent question that was, if you and your ex broke up 5 years ago and you've moved on, whether you're in a relationship or not, but you're whole with yourself, and a friend of yours, not given how close you guys are, but a friend of yours comes to tell you that they started talking to your ex and they've been talking for the past couple of months and they really feel like this is something real and this is like something strong. Like, what's your reaction to that?
She said
and some of the questions,
it
depends on the level of your ovary.
Some of the people were like, well, is this my best friend or this is my friend? And
I was hoping it would be your best friend.
And how long have I known this person? Do they know the extent of the relationship? They were asking all the different avenues, but off rip, everybody's like, no. And I'm like, but it's been 5 years, you're whole, you're by yourself, or you're with someone, you've moved on. What's the issue? But I think that is different. I think really the issue is whether or not you're over it. And that's the thing. Yeah. But I like asking questions that get people triggered, like because I asked some people at work and they were like, "Oh hell nah, this ain't happening," blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Dang, did this happen?" Because you're going back into some flashbacks, right. But that's basically the avenue. It's like it's one of those. I want to make it that you're talking to me, but you're not really with me talking to me. Like it's like kind of like organized scatterbrain, basically. Like the conversation can go in any different avenue, and like you might be driving your car, you might be listening and going like, but no, you should say this, that, and the third. And then when I say, you're like, see, that's what I'm talking about. Like I love feeling that like you're listening to me, and I don't know what part you're on or whatever, but I want you to feel as connected as you possibly can to the podcast. So that's like the main point. It's really not a like, oh, this is this kind of podcast, this is sports, or this is gossip. It's just an everything all around kind of podcast where you can get all the type of information that you need for your week.
What has been your favorite topics that you've discussed thus far?
My favorite topic, I think, was would you... Oh, yeah, definitely. My favorite topic was would you mess with, would you, like, how would you feel messing with your friend? Like, messing with, like, your best friend or something. Like if you had a relationship with somebody, and, like, they were, like, you know, like, your friends, like, your best friends, like, and everything like that, and then you just start gaining emotions, like, how do you come out and say to this person, like, you know, like, I mean, there was, like,
is it just one-sided, or is
it's, but the thing, you don't know that. That's the thing. Like, you never know how a person really feels unless they are physically telling you. Yeah, I think I was, like, watching, like, MTV, and they had brought back, you know, like, old MTV shows and everything, like, whatever. And it was, like, one of those, like, I'm in love with my best friend. And I was watching, and I was like, ooh, that's a good... So, like, what if you're in love with your best friend? Like, what do you do?
Do you tell them?
Do you tell them? Do you let them live their life? Like, what do you do in that
Well, like,
aspect?
you're in love with your best friend, but your best friend's in a relationship.
There's that one too, and you don't feel like they're getting treated
right. Like, do you say something? Do you be like, leave that person and get with me?
So that's one of my, and then the question I just asked, the 5-year one, because that got a lot of traction. Like, a lot of people were upset in their feelings. I'm like, dang, who did y'all so wrong
like,
in
what
your
happened?
past life?
So let's change it. What about what are some topics you've hit, or like a topic you've hit where you're like, that didn't go like where I imagined it would go? Even though I know you say it's just like organized, like, you know, chaos in ways as far as like the conversation going anywhere. But like, have you ever felt like this just didn't go well?
I would say I had a group podcast, and it hit, like, it did, but because it was so many different characters and so many different voices, it was almost like I organized it so you wasn't getting lost in the conversation, but you almost were like, I get it. Oh wait, I going with him. Oh wait, like, you know, like a lot of people who listened to it, they were like, I liked the format because it was guys and girls giving their perspective on a lot of different things and topics, switching back and forth. But then at the same time, like, I kind of got lost in, like, the direction of it.
Was there, like, one person that was overpowering the
No, like, everyone was giving their equal feedback. Because I'm a person where if I have someone on the show, I'm not going to be over-talking them just because it's mine. Like, you know, I want you to get your voice out. That's the reason why I brought you on. Like, I want you to talk. I want people to hear you and your thoughts and everything. So I didn't overpower it, but I let everyone get their equal amounts, or, like, I switched it to one person, or I directed it here and there. But I think it was just one of those podcasts you had to be there. And so, like, you know, like, you're talking whatever, and you're like, oh, this would be a great topic to have and everything.
But when you do it,
it's not. Because it's one of those, you have to too, people are watching and seeing how it was going. But I think audibly, some things are acceptable than most. So, like, if I'm having a group discussion and there's no visual to it, it gets kind of lost. Like, it gets kind of messy. But then when you have that visual aspects of it, then you're like, oh, I can see this person, I agree with this person, you know, kind of thing. I think that was the only one that didn't do too well. Other than that, all of them are, like, pretty much in the same group. It was it was basically why, how do I put this in an appropriate it was basically it was like, you know how guys versus girls conversations go, like, it's one person's doing this, one person's doing that. Basically the end point was, why do men do what they do and then think women are supposed to be okay with it? So, like, in the aspect of, like, okay, you have a friend that you know plays women, who doesn't hit up Tamara or whatever. Do you ever go, like you're supposed to have some deep emotional, like, barbershop conversation?
Or maybe you do.
But, like, it's one of those things, like,
most men are not going to do it.
I know, but, like, it's one of those things of, like, I know I have a lot of guy friends, and I can account for all the guy friends that I have, that they are very respectful, very sensible, empathetic men that are respectful to women. There are some of their friends that I'm just like, why are you friends with them? Like, they're like, it's like, and that was the case in point. Like, are you telling your friends, like, bro, I don't think this is the way. Like, I don't think this is how you should go. And then, like, also, like, women, are you doing the same thing? You can't be covering up for your sis every single time Tyrone's calling her phone, like, where's she at? You're like, oh, she was with me at the mall.
Like, no.
Because it goes both ways. I'm never like
right.
a man basher, like, oh, men ain't this, man that. I always say, like, some men, some of them do this.
This
some
is
of them
very
do
true.
that.
See, the way you said it, though, it's still like.
Some of them do
No,
this.
it's
Some, but
some.
it's some. But it's
Some of
it's
y'all,
some of
y'all be
them.
messing up.
Because
It's
I
the
know
same thing for women. I can say like some of y'all.
That's no,
You know?
and it's true. Like I like.
We don't make such mistakes.
Yeah.
But that's all. That's all I'm saying is like both sexes have like their ups and their downs.
Of course, yeah.
But like in our community, why is it that like we don't get the due respect? Like I don't see you guys see the Chris Brown thing. Like it's just like one of those. It's one of those things of like. When I first seen it, I was just like, but y'all gonna act like y'all ain't looking like Frederick Douglass underneath that bonnet today. But okay. Like, I know my hair wasn't looking good that morning, whatever. But then I guess when you make it deeper or you look at it deeper, it's kind of like, why are we always put down? And I seen somebody comment like, I don't understand why black women always get mad because somebody doesn't want, like, specifically you, and it's everything, like, you guys date outside your race. And it's just, and I seen a comment reply back, and I loved it. It was like, we date outside of our race, and we would never put a brother down.
That's it.
We never just degrade them. We never talk about them. We never say, oh, your hair beady. You do this. You ain't got no job. You always got an attitude.
You can't say that.
No, I'm okay. I will say, for what I know and what I see when black women date outside of their race, I haven't heard them say because of them being a black man, I don't want them.
No.
It's always when I hear like a black man dating outside of his race, there's some of them that sit there and they go, because I don't like dark women, or they're just like black women always got an attitude, they always got something going on with them, they don't know how to treat a brother.
Yeah, I'll give you that. You do hear that.
I don't know how to treat a brother, but I'm literally like your mother. I'm your mother. Like your mama black, your grandmama black, your auntie black.
Also, like I don't know how to treat you, but no matter what you need, I have your.
And that's the thing. I'm not gonna go on a tangent because we're only here for a few minutes. But that's the thing that also makes me like let me go. You know what? It's above me because it's one of those things. Just like you said, it's like no matter what you go through in life, no matter what struggle you may have going on, I got your back through and through. I could be joking you while you in jail. Yeah. I could hold you down while at work. I'm taking care of the kids. I'm making sure the house is put together. Even if we don't got kids, even if we're not married, I'm still holding it down. Like I could be just at the end of the day,
you're my blood no matter what.
I could be just your girlfriend and I'm still holding you down. Like we've been together for 20 years or something like that. Like I got your back no matter what. But as soon as like the tide changes or like the wind blows differently, it's like it goes out the window.
I don't think it's just like us black men. There's a lot of men that do it. It's not just us black men.
But I don't know them. Like I don't date them. I say it all the time.
So would you date outside the race?
I'm speaking of. She's speaking of.
You wouldn't date outside? Why not?
Because I love a black man.
Just because of that.
I love a black man.
What if you had like it was a blind date situation, not even a blind date situation. It was a like how these shows have like blind dates, etc. Right? But it was like through voices. It was through voices for like 3 to 6 months. And after 3 to 6 months, but the point, but they do that because the point is to see like if you can genuinely love a person without the aesthetics, right? And so it's just like, do you love the heart and soul of this person? When you don't see them, you're not passing judgments on that. It's truly based on mind, heart, and soul, like it's conversation. And so all of a sudden, 3 or 6 months later,
I'm sorry, my face just went.
Yeah, I'm not even trying to. I just want to ask you the right question.
You know what's bad about
let me get there.
People always tell me like, Ken, I can tell when you just switched off.
Yeah,
and it was because my peripheral looking at the camera, and I see my face switch. I said, "Oh,
give the question a chance." So 3 or 6 months later, then they reveal what the person looks like. One person, the one that you love the most, that you were vibing with the most, was a white man.
Thanks.
So, okay.
Wait,
you had your chance? Can I get my question out?
Hold on, but just thanks. Like, you were vibing for 3
I
or 6
can't
months.
vibe with him, but my thing is, it's not I don't want to make it like, any other race is nasty. Like, no. I've seen some very handsome Asian, white, Indian, whatever you are, I have seen them. That doesn't mean I want you. And even if you have the heart of gold, that doesn't mean I want you. Because I've been pro-black before pro-black was pro-black. Okay? Like, I remember I only wore the Pan-African colors for a very long time. Everything was green, black, red, yellow. I was I had the country, and I'm just a regular Negro American. That's it. Like, I ain't got no direct connection to back home at all. But I just love being black. I love the support of it. I love the idea of it. I just love how our skin looks in the sun. I just love, like, we take anything and we can season it up and just make it bomb.
What would you say to somebody that tells you that's like reverse racism by saying that you're with a...
It's not, because it's the mere fact of I'm not putting down any other race. I'm not putting any...
Technically you are, because you're just saying, hey, this race I'll never get to.
No,
I know it's a preference, but you're kind of putting that race, the other race down by saying, okay, it's all black besides that.
But she never said that.
I'm not saying that they're not good. I'm not saying that you're saying they're not good. But in a backwards way, it's you're saying it but not saying it. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying, but in how I'm phrasing it in my mind, I'm saying that, could someone possibly come along and be the man of my dreams and he be white or Asian or something like that?
So you would say no to that?
I would say no, because
because they're white.
Just because they're white.
The man of your dreams.
The man of my dreams.
Like everything.
Because you know what the thing is? You always have a vision for yourself, no matter where you are in life. Alright? So, like, I'm just saying, this isn't like the same thing as being big and small. You can change that within a couple of months. Like, you know what I'm saying? But some people have, like, the thing that, like, makes them go ooh and ah, or whatever. For example, I like big dudes. I always say I ain't going for nothing under 200. That's my thing. Like, I love me a big dude or whatever, right? I have now started talking to someone who is not a big dude, who does not fit my criteria whatsoever. But he got me interested, and I'm like locked in. So I'm like, okay. So when you don't go towards whatever, so I'm not.
So why wouldn't you give that chance to somebody else of another race?
He a brother.
No. I understand that part. So the same way that you were like, I would never like,
but it's just one of those things. I can't.
Why not?
It's one of those things.
You can't or you won't.
I think you need to say that.
I can't.
You won't. I think it's more you won't, because if you found the right person,
no, that is a really good question.
It's more you won't.
I think it's no.
Is it more the idea like, hey, it's in my head now, and I'm stuck with it?
Yeah, like it's been there. Like
so
I
you will
couldn't
never
see
change because of
myself.
that.
Like I've dated not everybody's black, but I dated a Hispanic person before.
Okay, that's still black.
And that's still black. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But to some people it ain't the same thing.
Right.
So I did like a Hispanic person before. Someone that I wouldn't go for whatsoever at all. Like even though I know you're black, but I just wouldn't go for it. And it was cool or whatever. But I just it was okay. Oh, let me help you. It was okay. It wasn't.
It wasn't it for you.
So
it wasn't it for me.
What is it about the other race that turns you off from saying I would be with them?
That's the thing. Nothing.
So
nothing about another race.
It's solely a racial.
It's just a racial
that
thing.
is the preference.
It's nothing. Like I said, I can talk to a person who's like, "Oh wow, you're handsome. You're this. You're that." I can't. I love a black man, and it's one of those things where I feel like everyone has a thing they can't explain why or wiggle their way out of it or give it an exact reason. It's just that's just how I am.
Going back, you said that when you were younger and everything that you was pro-black and everything. Do you think did you read any books or anything like that made you kind of change your mind and switch towards that type of view?
Being pro-black?
And being pro-black?
I don't know, because like I said, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? My mother was into computers and directing and doing all these things. My father was very musical, knew how to play almost any and every single instrument in the world. So there was that with my siblings and everything, and just like being around my family, the laughing, the cackling, and everything like everything is stereotypical. I guess obviously the right stereotypical things that happened in a black household was in my household, and it was just growing up with that empowerment and that love and that togetherness. I was just like every time I was with my family, I'm just like, yo, I love my family. I love the auntie that laughs too much, who always do too much, or I love when the little kids doing a tiny inappropriate dance, but they go ahead baby, do it. But then once it get a little too much, it's like, all right, reel it in. You know what I'm saying? It was just growing up with that, like, I loved, and then I think, like, when I went from living in Mattapan to coming out towards, like, Avon Brockton area and going to school out there and getting my real feel of, like, not kind of being a minority in a classroom in a way, and then seeing how they were acting, like, it's just like, like, it didn't settle with me right. And then learning about, because when you went to Catholic school, all you knew was Mary, Jesus, and Joseph, and that's it. You didn't learn anything else. At least I didn't, because when I went to public school, I was dumb. Like, I was not the brightest child in the world, but I got up there, so hey, college graduate. So, but then when I went to public school, whatever, I was just like, yo, man, there's no white people, like, because it was just like the kids in, like, the school. I didn't like them. I didn't vibe with them. Like, it was like only one person. That's still my girl to this day since 3rd grade, and that's it. Yeah. So, and then that was pretty much that. And then when I started learning about, then just started learning, because I always knew about slavery. But when you start reading and looking into history books and looking at that and looking at this, that, and the third, it just was just like, dang, like, we went through all that for y'all to still, treat us like this. And my mother always led the Martin Luther King day things and the drives and things like that. So she was always in, like, some, like, pro-black, like, thing. Like, she has, like, some trophy that's diamond, whatever, being the black, whatever. Like, so my mother was, like, it's one of those things, like, my neighbor was in the Black Panthers. So, like, I was always around, like, it was my environment. And so it never was a thing for me to be like, oh, yeah, like, being black's great. Like, I was just like, nah, being black's bomb. Like, waking up to I'm black and I'm proud, singing Aretha in the morning. Like, it's those things that just make me just proud to be that, to be melanated, beautifully infused. That's just beautiful. That's just what it is.
I love it. That's that black girl magic through and through, for real. I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, that's really, I don't know. I feel like on that note, I'm just sitting here like, okay, she got the podcast. She's doing her topic. She's letting you know that if you ain't black, don't talk to her. It's not happening. Period. I mean, you can talk to her.
I ain't gonna listen to you.
But you're not going anywhere.
I'm never a person to shut down anybody.
Right.
It's just
she
like,
just say, I ain't getting with you. So,
listen, if you listen to Angie Stone's, it's called Black Brother. Listen, that song make you just like, I need to find me a black man and give him a hug right now.
Like, I'm about to listen to that on my car.
Please do.
Truly, that's amazing. I mean, what are some words of encouragement you'd have to people who are looking to start their own podcasts and just be out there and find their own authentic and genuine voice in Boston today?
I would say, obviously, it's very cliche to say be yourself. But just like when we was on the live podcast like 2 weeks ago, someone said, like, your audience isn't going to be my audience isn't going to be your audience. Yep. Just because you may be doing the same thing as someone else, or you may be doing, like, I could be classified doing the same thing as, like, Wendy Williams. I'm doing Hot Topics, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But I'm not Wendy, and Wendy's not me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the different avenues and things that you can take. So be authentic about your craft, and don't try to go, oh, I see this person's doing this, let me try to incorporate that. Your people might not like you doing that. That might not be something for you, or trying to be funnier or do different things, or, like, if it doesn't work for you, don't do it. If you're a person who's reserved and everything like that, but you like just putting out what you're putting out, do that, because I'm sure there's a lot of other reserved people who want to talk to another person like that. Shoot, people are making money off of eating food on YouTube. I love eating food. Do you know how mad I was when I said I was like, dang, I could have been doing this since birth. Dang. But it's one of those things, like, they found what people like, and they get paid to do what they like, and that's eat. I mean, I like to eat, So it's one of those things, like, if you keep doing what you're supposed to do, if you find your niche, and that's the thing I learned of, like, when I first started doing anything, your niche is what it is. When you find who likes the things that you like and they fall in line with you, it doesn't matter. Like I said, there's a lot of people who are doing the same exact thing. Like, we both have a podcast. We both talk about the same thing. We are all black. If you find a person who likes listening to black people on a podcast and they talk about different topics and everything like that, they can listen to all of us. It doesn't have to be one particular podcast because your podcast is different from mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one's ever the same. So if you like a little more ratchetity, you're gonna go to a ratchet person. If you like this, you like that. If you want to have a more calm note, you can do whatever you want. So I would say first and foremost, know that you can do anything on a dime. Literally on a dime. Like, my YouTube didn't start with a high class camera and this and that. It was a Canon point and shoot, some Dollar Tree bath curtains, and some Velcro command strips I have tapered to my ceiling, and I just go and I put it up, and it looked like, oh, she got like a nice backdrop and everything. And girl, I started my YouTube channel off with $5.
That's it.
For $5
and a drink.
And $5 in a drink. You don't have to start off with like big name brand things because people appreciate the growth even now. I only started it like in the end of 2017, and like it's about to be 2 years in September, October. And people are like, yo, your videos have like went up there, like that, and that's only within 2 years. You know, and I just hit 200 subscribers on the YouTube channel. And to some people, that's like, dang, that took a long time. I'm like, yo, 200, bro? To get somebody to subscribe and then stay. That's something, especially on YouTube, that's something different and special. And then, like, even, like I said on the podcast, like, I'm watching my sense grow. That's how I really know people are listening. It's not like, oh, you have 21 followers listening. No, I'm seeing sense grow in an account that obviously I'm not touching. It's $3 $6. Like, I'm not touching it, but it's like I'm seeing it grow, and that's something so dope to see it like hit a new dollar amount every single time. That means more and more people are listening to it. So don't feel like you have to rush in there and be like this big bag dog. You have to appease and please everyone. Start off slow, just like everybody else had to, and that's just what it is.
I love it.
What are your next moves? What's the future hold for you, the podcast, your YouTube channel?
My next moves are wherever God has placed me and it has opened the doors for me to go into. Because I will say, and I don't like bragging whatsoever, like that's not something I do, but people know who I am, and people know my name, you know, and people talk about me when I'm not there. And so my next moves with the podcast is to keep that on. That's why I say, as long as the flavor stays in your mouth, as long as I'm someone of topic to you, I am moving already somewhere where I need to be. So with my podcast, I would love to see it being featured somewhere. I would love to be on more interviews. I'm not a person where I have to be plastered everywhere and I gotta get paid big money and everything. Is that something nice to do? Yeah, sure. Obviously, someone wants to get paid to do something that they love. That's awesome. But I would rather be able to get and connect to more people and know more people, because then that only opens the door for everybody. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, I like to name drop. And anywhere I go, I be name dropping. And so you don't know when one person hears it, they're like rewinding, like, oh, who was that? What did she say? They look it up and they like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always a person, I'm going to support one person doing one thing and support another person doing another thing. And that's just what it is. I just want to be wherever God has placed me. That's where I want to go.
That's it. I love that. Thank you so much. Our last question to you is, where can our listeners follow you and stay connected?
Ooh, okay, you all said.
Right. Drop yourself.
All right.
Details.
DJ Clue Bomb.
I heard you said DJ Clue Bomb.
I wish we had it.
I'll find that. I'm going to put it in there.
But I just want one of those to follow me around life. When I drop a bar, just like, basically. But you guys can definitely follow me on the Vault podcast page, which is The Vault, not The Vault like lightning bolt, which I didn't realize people were spelling it like that. But The Vault, like you get locked in somewhere. The Vault, VAULT podcast _ you can also email me at thevaultpodcast19@gmail.com. Swipes and Giggles is Swipes and Giggles everywhere. Swipes and Giggles gmail.com. Swipes and Giggles on Instagram. And if you want to personally get to know me a little bit more, you can follow me on Instagram at CandyTasteC. And then, you know, YouTube and Spotify, I'm everywhere. For the podcast, I'm everywhere. Just search. I changed it to now, so you can find me easier. The Vault with Chase. That's CHAYES. So just find me Spotify, Apple, Google, Breaker, TuneIn, all the other ones in the world, and then YouTube, Swipes and Giggles.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Candice, for being on air with us. I'm super excited to have had Candice on the show talking about what it's like to be a podcaster, a single-handed woman podcast at that, doing it and shaking it up in the city of Boston and being able to have these amazing conversations. So it's your girl, Bernadine Truth.
It's your man, NIC.
And we'll be right back.